Please give it up for Domo founder and CEO Josh James and Qualtrics founder and CEO Ryan Smith.
Good morning, everybody. This is kind of crazy, Ryan.
This is nuts, but this looks really good.
So we had 20,000 people last year. This year, clearly have a lot more, but it's really humbling because, you know, in 2004, I looked it up last night. I'm like, when did we register that domain name? And it was 2004, siliconslopes.com. And it was interesting to kind of review or reflect and think about, we were dinking around there for about 10 years. And, you know, we had a poster that talked about Silicon Slopes. And that was about it. And then saw Clint Betts create a little conference down in Provo, and we're like, we should be doing something like that. And so I called a few of our friends, called Kareen, Ryan, Aaron, Dave Elkington, Todd Peterson, Bateman, and a few others, and said, what could we do if we really kind of all came together? And it was fun because Ryan's like, hey, if we're doing this, we're all in. So.
Yeah, I think it's a great analogy of what's happened with Silicon Slopes, that as individuals, we can do a little bit, but together, we can do a lot. And this is what this entire event is about. But before we get started, let's give a big round of applause for Clint Betts and the Silicon Slopes team for everything that they have done.
So when we think about bringing everyone together in conjunction with the mission of Silicon Slopes, learn, connect, and serve, how much power is there when we have this many people, you know, here in one place, talking about similar things? And it's been fun. Last night, even I think we started learning. I know I had an opportunity to learn. You want to chat about that?
Yeah, there was 90 CEOs that came together last night, and one of the things I love about Silicon Slopes is just being in learning mode. There's really nowhere else that I've seen where so many people want to get better and want to learn. I'll never forget a phone call I had from my co-founder and brother last year. He said, actually, I'm tightening my circle. You know, I'm only going to take time and meet with 80 people in my life.
Were you in the circle?
Well, this is funny because he said, your other brother is in the circle. And I asked if I was. But I said, how do you decide who's in your circle? And he said, I will only make time for people that are in learning mode. And it was amazing last night to see how many people were engaging. They were looking around. They were trying to understand other people's businesses. And this entire event and the purpose is so that we can all learn together. I can't wait to sit in sessions, whether you're participating, whether you're here for the first time. The lineup is insane, and if we can't learn here, I don't know where we can.
Yeah, and when we originally were thinking about this, the part of the opportunity is, I remember we'd get feedback from employees that there wasn't enough opportunities to learn and be educated and hear from our peers, and it was kind of seemed unfortunate that because we'd have to ship people on planes to go to Silicon Valley or somewhere else to go to these great conferences. So it's really cool that now we have so much opportunity to learn from each other, to learn from our peers, to learn from those other CEOs. Last night, I learned a few things that I didn't know. So that's been, I think, a great component.
Yeah, the second mission of Silicon Slopes is to connect. This event is so that we all can connect with each other. So I think the one ask is that we turn the default to on. You know, normally you have to wait till everyone gets a bunch of drinks to really loosen up and actually be in full connection mode. Let's just allow ourselves to be open. Don't judge. If someone comes up to you, be welcoming and learn to connect. Some of the best friends that I have in my life have come from the last 4 or 5 years with Silicon Slopes. And I can't wait to make more and more friends today and throughout this event.
And what I think is kind of cool with the Connect, you know, especially the first year was 100% Utahns. And now we're getting 15, 20% of folks from outside the state. And what was really interesting a few weeks ago for me, we were trying to do a deal at Domo. We were trying to build our business, and we have a partner that we're like, we need to connect more with this partner. And the folks that were managing the business, managing the relationship, came to me and said, can you see if you can reach out to the CEO? I'm like, sure, yeah, I'll reach out. So I reached out to the CEO, who's on the East Coast, and I said, hey, I'd love to get together sometime. Maybe we can find a time to either chat on the phone or grab coffee or something like that, if you're on the West Coast or if I'm on the East Coast. And he said, I'll be to Silicon Slopes in 2 weeks. Maybe we should just get together there. And that was like, what? Like, when do you have people come into Utah? But that's what's happening now. So it's so fun to see the opportunity to connect with everyone here.
This entire event is set up for connecting. We got a startup competition, Silicon Slopes competition from an arcade. We have a film tonight, The Dissident. Has anyone heard of that? Okay. So a couple years ago, we called some friends at Sundance and we said, hey, we want to do a premiere or a film here. And two venture capitalists, David Fialco from General Catalyst and Jim Schwartz, who founded Excel, had started a documentary company, and they brought this film that had never been seen before, Icarus. And Icarus went on to win an Oscar. And that was the first time it was shown was here. They came back this year and said, you've got to see this, it's The Dissident. So that's all here. It's going to be another great film, and so that's available.
The third thing is serve. And it's been really fun to watch the ability, again, with this many people, how can we serve? Not only serving each other, but serve our community. Last year, 4,000 people here participated in making meals and building meals for those in need and for the homeless community. And this year, we're also in Hall 2. Anytime during the next 2 days, you can go over and help build meals. We're trying to build 1 million meals. And we've actually got a video to kind of show us a little about and give us some highlights of that. So let's go to the video.
Hi, my name is Jeanette Bott. I'm president and CEO of the Utah Food Bank. Right here in Utah, we have seen an absolute eruption of success in business and technology, of knowledge, of jobs, things that are happening that are positive, that are impacting us across the state. But what we need to be sure to remember is that there are still those here in the state of Utah who are faced with that issue of hunger. I can't look at someone and see that they're hungry. I can't look at a child and know that they haven't eaten. You probably wouldn't look at me today and know that I was a single mother and that I was the one who couldn't provide the meals and that I had children that were hungry. So the problem of hunger is vast here in the state of Utah. 12% of our population is challenged with issues of food insecurity. That's 1 in 8 adults. It's 1 in 7 children. So the Utah Food Bank is an emergency food assistance program. We're able to help a family in crisis. You can go to a pantry or a location anywhere throughout the state, and you will be served that day, that moment, with food for you and your family, and it's free of charge. It takes all of us coming together at any time, at any place, to be able to make a difference for those who are struggling with hunger. We can do it today. We can make a difference going forward, and all of us can fight hunger in Utah.
So the goal is that we can help make a million meals again. And so I think we have 5,000 people that are set up and
already
volunteer.
5,000 people have signed up compared to 4,000 last year, so we can crank through and get those things done. So obviously that's a great way for us to serve. Another way to serve is we're certainly grateful for Utah. And I know when I was raising money for my very first company, I was begging people that managed apartment complexes and owned apartment complexes, and they're looking at my tech company like, I don't understand why it's not making money from day one. Like, I don't know what to say to you. But, can we get more, as we've, as businesses have evolved, it's been fun to see the community and executives and CEOs and other people that have done well in some of their companies give back by investing in other companies. And that's been really fun and really rewarding to see companies grow. But I think we kind of looked at that and said, is there a way we can, formalize this a little bit more, but also do it in a way where we can give back to the community a little bit more effectively?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest benefits that we've had is those who have come before us. The amount of learning, the amount of shortcuts that we've been able to take because of watching other companies has probably been the most valuable thing that we've been able to pull out of this community?
Yeah, I've got, I remember sitting down, there was one gentleman out of my 40 angel investors that I had in my first company, there was one who had been in tech and in software. And I sat down with him, and he didn't have a huge company, it was like 10 million in revenue, and he was looking at our company, he's like, why don't you guys do a user conference? I'm like, I don't know, I don't even know what one is. It's like, well, all my revenue came to my user conference, you should be doing a user conference. I'm like, okay. So we did Omniture Summit. We had 6 people attend the first one. We got better at it over the years, and now do Domopalooza, but I would have had no idea if someone hadn't kind of mentored me and advised me and taught me how to run a tech company.
And I would argue that that's the catalyst for when we started actually Silicon Slopes, was because of that person and tracing back to that individual.
Yep.
So we've got a really exciting announcement that we're going to do tomorrow. It's the Silicon Slopes Venture Fund. If you think about how we can give back, there's a lot of shortcuts that we probably could have taken. I'm in my 17th year running a business. Had I had something like this, I guarantee that we could have shortened the process to get to where we did significantly, not just from the funding and the money, but the know-how. So this is going to be a major announcement. It's unlike anything that we've ever seen, and it's part of building the community. The best part about it is a lot of the fees from a typical venture fund go to individuals. These will now go back to fund Silicon Slopes. Everything I've got has come from Utah. I grew up here, my family's from here, and it's this ecosystem that has helped our organizations be successful, and success breeds success. So if there's something that we can do to give back, the number one thing is how do we make more organizations successful so that the amazing ride that we are on in Utah continues. This is what everyone is focused on. How do we keep enjoying what we have?
Yeah, so we continue to need sponsorships from all the companies that are here. That'll continue to be an ongoing thing, but how can we make it more sustainable? So we're gonna take the fees and that normally would go to the people that are running it and donate those back to Silicon Slopes. So we're excited about that. It's gonna be Ryan and myself and Pelion Ventures, championed by Jeff Curl. They've been great, Blake and the team over there at Pelion building a world-class venture fund. So we're excited to partner with them, and we're still doing our day jobs, right? We wanna make sure that I'm still running Domo, lest it be misconstrued.
And the idea is that it's a Utah-only fund, the first of its kind, where all investment will only go into the state of Utah. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow, right before Mark Zuckerberg's interview. How about Mark Zuckerberg coming to Silicon Slopes?
Zuck.
Clint will be on stage interviewing Mark tomorrow. Do not miss it. He does not do many of these, and we've been trying to get him for years, and as much karaoke as Josh would sing with him, that didn't get him there, but we ended up getting him. So we're super excited because there's a lot to be said, and it's a really important time in tech with privacy and everything else, and so we're super excited. Probably the biggest impact, I think, that will come out of what we've done so far with Silicon Slopes and the community here is what we're gonna talk about next, which is the computer science initiative for the next generation on how we can actually have computer science in every single classroom in this state. It's a number one thing that we get asked when we're recruiting people, when people come to this state, is, hey, how's the school system? We have a chance together to influence the future. We've had about a 2-year initiative going. Aaron Sconard's gonna come up. Him and the team have, they have absolutely put in countless of hours, and the dedication has been unlike anything we've seen to make sure that computer science is prolific throughout every single K through 12 institution in this state. And you're gonna see this. Everyone needs to pay attention because this is a prime example of what happens when we put our logos aside and we come together like we've done with Silicon Slopes in the impact that we can make in this state to do something that has not been done in any other state in the United States.
Yep. And it's cool. It's been fun to see, the community and then the way that the public institutions pay attention to this big of a community that comes together. So excited to hear from
So let's get the show going. Connect, learn, let's serve. And everyone, welcome up Aaron Sconard.
Thanks, everybody.